Can you explain why, whenever I was not streaming, I would wake up at 10 PM and I would play video games all night long into the morning, eating fast food, and I was completely euphoric?
Yeah, so what do you mean by euphoric?
I was incredibly happy. There was nothing wrong. I knew exactly what was gonna happen. The day was gonna be great. And the only thing that really pulled me out of that was the, like, external variables. Like, knowing that I like, it can't last forever, I guess, in a way.
So was euphoria existential or emotional?
Both, I think. Um, I was doing what I wanted to do.
So that sounds hedonistic as opposed to existential to me. So that sounds like a pleasurable life, but
Yeah.
over time would have led to an empty one.
And that's what I always, like,
So
I had and I completely agree with you because, like, I've told people a lot of times I never really wanted to grow up, etc. And people told to me, they're like, well, you don't have to, you can just do what you always have done. And it's like, that's true. But I know exactly what you're saying is it will lead to emptiness in the
yep.
long run.
So here's what I think. I think for most people, they think about how long was that time period?
Like 3 months. And then
Okay.
before that, I mean, like, there were time periods like that for years
But were
before
you
I started.
happy every day for years?
Every day. No, not every day, but most days.
No, I'm not talking about emotionally. I mean like existentially.
In what way? Like, can you
Were you
explain it?
fulfilled during the years that you were doing that?
Fulfilled. Um, yes and no. In
Okay.
some ways, yes. In some ways, no. I feel like I wasn't making enough, like, videos or content. I wasn't creating enough,
Yeah,
and
so
that's
that
why,
so
yeah,
that so that's where fulfillment comes from. So like I want you to understand this. There's a different axis, and this is what I call spiritual. So there's a
yeah,
spiritual happiness which the Buddha calls dukh, which means suffering. So he uses the word suffering because suffering is not an emotion, right? So there's like contentment and suffering, which is on one axis, and those are above the axis of individual emotions. Like you can be sad and content, and you can be suffering and joyous,
yeah.
right?
Like
So like,
being poor and happy.
right. So
Yeah,
those are different axes. So here's what I think about your 3 month stint. I think that most people think about vacations is something that you do for a couple of weeks. I think some people take vacations for months. And what I'm hearing from your 3 month stint is you were basically on vacation. And
I think my longest vacation's been 4 years.
yeah, so you may be someone who has a 4 year vacation, right? Like that's
Yeah,
okay. Like I think it's fine to be hedonistic for a time and enjoy yourself, and also to
not
feel
according to my
fulfilled,
dad.
huh?
Yeah, not according to my dad.
Yeah. So I don't think that you are quite as fulfilled as you think you are, but I think
Yeah,
that it's fine to be hedonistic and fulfilled at the same. Like, I mean, that's okay for periods of time. Like I love
yeah,
it. Like sometimes I will just let myself go, man.
yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah, it's a
sometimes
good
I like
feeling.
it's an amazing feeling. Like I'll be like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna eat fucking Taco Bell and I'm gonna play games until like 1 in the morning. And it's
yeah.
awesome because I mean, I'd love to do that for weeks at a time, but I tend to get a day every now and then. But I think it's fine to be hedonistic. Hedonistic isn't bad. Like hedonistic and fulfillment is possible, but I think it tends to be temporary because I think over time, like that's gonna decay and then you'll start to feel empty.
Well, it's like if you have a day off, that's really exciting, but if you're unemployed, it's not.
Exactly. Beautiful way to
Yeah, I
put it.
understand.
Yeah. Right. So I think, and so I think if we really dig into your 4 year period, I would be very surprised because I think you also are good at distraction, right? So you're
Yeah.
probably like pretty good at suppressing things. So there
Oh,
may
yeah.
have been discomfort or existential dread or dukh, basically suffering
Yeah.
that you were distracting yourself from,
Mhm.
and you kind of, it's easy to get confused with like eating fast food and playing video games and the dopamine. Like
Yeah.
dopamine is like separate from fulfillment.
Mhm.
So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I feel good about it sometimes. I think that there's also, like, a degree where it's like you do that for years, and I felt really good doing it at like 19 and 20, and then it was kind of weird whenever I was like 23 or something and still doing it. And like I had like jobs like off and on, but for the most part I pretty much did nothing. And I went to college and I have a college degree, but I mean I didn't really ever give a shit about that. I mainly did that just to get my dad not to get mad at me. And I guess yeah, I feel yeah, it would be something that I kind of just would do in order to like forget about things, and then every once in a while I would take a peek in like the real world where like I
Oh
was in like
yeah.
my time capsule of existence. And it's
Yep.
like yeah, my friends are now like they have a house, or back then they had like now you're graduating college, and for me I'm not really, or at that time, and I'm just kind of clowning around. And I'd feel like other people were moving forward with their lives and doing things that were meaningful, and meanwhile, I was just stuck there playing video games. And even though I had chosen that, there's there's like a certain, I don't know, like sadness.
Yeah. So I think that it's right at the edges, right? It's
Yeah.
there, but right at the edges. So I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't at the edges when you did your 3 month vacation. I think it like you can still feel fulfilled. But I know I was the same way. Like I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like I remember my third or fourth year of college. I was there for 5 years because I failed a bunch of classes. But my third or fourth year, I remember my friends had a house, and I stayed at a frat. I mean, I lived in a frat house, but like we used to game together, and I would basically like go there every day. Like I would get up in the morning like I was going to go to class, but I only had classes like 3 days a week. But I would get up at the same time, and I was somewhat functional then. And I would go to their house at 8 in the morning. I brought my PC over there, and I still remember I had never had coffee from a coffee pot, like a drip coffee
Yeah.
machine, for whatever reason. Like I just I didn't grow up drinking it or anything. And so then like I still remember how delicious their coffee was. I would like go to their house at 8 in the morning. I would make myself a cup of coffee and it was awesome. And then I would start playing video games at like 8 a.m. instead of going to class. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would go there and I'd play video games. And then on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I would like wake up and I would go to class. And as soon as I was done, I would like finish at like noon or something. I'd pick up some kind of food and then I'd go to their house and I'd play video games. And I just like lived this amazingly hedonistic lifestyle that was just so much fun. We would
Why'd
hang
you
out
stop?
and, huh?
Why'd you stop?
Um,
I mean, it sounds great.
yeah, I mean, I think I stopped because I couldn't keep doing it.
Because you just
Right.
knew like internally.
Yeah, so like fifth year rolled around. I think I was in fourth year, and fifth year rolled around, and then I realized that I basically had when I started my fifth year of college, I had 2 years left. I finished my I started my fifth year as a junior. And then I was like, I just cannot stand, like I've been ignoring this for a long time, but I can't be a sixth year senior. I just can't, like 5 years of college is okay, but
Yeah.
6 years is just fucking pathetic.
It is. I remember I had a friend of mine, and he logged on one day in the World of Warcraft, and he said to us, he was like, "Guys, I'm quitting, and I've been in college for 5 years. I need to get my life together. This is ridiculous, and I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
Goodbye." And he would, before this, brag about how he would retake English 1, or it was psychology 1, I forgot which one, the freshman class, so he could hook up with freshman girls every single semester. And like apparently his friend watches my stream, and the guy's getting married now.
Yeah. I'm so in my case, there
10
was a
years
girl
later.
involved too. So I was
Yeah.
dating a girl who I was really, really into. And
Yeah.
and also like she didn't know that like she thought I was going to be graduating at the end of year 5. And so like I just couldn't face the shame of like telling her that I'm still not done. So I
Yeah.
mean when it came to my fifth year, I just completely busted my ass and basically did 1 year of college each semester. So I took like twice a normal course load and just still gamed actually fair amount.
Yeah.
But just I was like that's enough. Like I can't, I mean even in the depths of my shame, it's just like I can't do that to myself.
Enough is enough.
Yeah.